in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. True. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Georgette Truin. I am the co-host for Fight CPS with Ms. G, and I also work for the law office of Vincent Davis. And I have my lovely Cassandra. Hi, Cassandra.
Hello.
She's my co-host. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so I want to start the show, as I usually do, or I try to do, with letting you guys know the facts. So Child Protective Services, also known as CPS or DCFS, in the protected empire built on kidnapping children and destroying families. Bill Clinton 1997 Act offered cash bonuses for the state for every child they adopt out in foster care. And in order to receive the adoption incentive bonuses, CPS treats kids like merchandise that sells. They must bring plenty of innocent children so the buyers can choose. The buyers are usually the adoptive foster families. Workers work hard to keep the federal dollar flowing. Each bonus is multiplied by a percentage that the state has managed to exceed baseline adoption numbers. Therefore, the state and local community, which is CPS or DCFS, work hard to reach their goal to increase the numbers of adoption. This program is set by the very top and is ran by the Health and Human Resources. This is why victims of CPS do not get the help from their legislator. Our tax dollars is keeping this gigantic system floating. 6 out of 10 children die in foster care. CPS became this protected empire built on taking children and the separation of family, which is illegal kidnapping. Poor parents are targeted to lose their children because they do not have the money to hire an attorney. CPS workers commit fraud and withhold evidence in court, and no checks and balances from the judges. And they allow them to run the show. The separation of families and snatching of children is growing as CPS business grows because the state and local government are accustomed to having the taxpayers' dollars to balance their overgrowing budget. The ones that benefit from all this are the state employees, social workers, children therapists, court-appointed attorney, also known as court pretenders, guardian ad litem, CPS investigators, judges, foster parents, and adoptive foster parents, all of them looking at children in the state custody to provide job security. So the system is broken on so many levels of broken. The system is corrupt. They take innocent children from innocent parents just because there's an allegation made against a parent or both parents. They go there, they bring their cops, they bring a police officer with them. Why? Because usually humans are intimidated when they see a uniform and a badge. And then they scare parents. They intimidate them. They bully them. You have to sign this or you're not going to get your kids back. You have to do this or you're not going to get your kids back. But guess what? You can do every fucking thing they tell you to do and you're still not going to get your kids back. They tell you to do classes, drug classes, rehab, domestic violence, what else? All kinds of shit. But there is no domestic violence. In most cases, there is no drugs. In most cases, it's nothing but allegations from someone. They retaliate, whoever retaliates against you, whether it's a mother-in-law that doesn't like her daughter-in-law, right? Or you fired an employee and the employer reported you because they're retaliating against you. Or there's a neighbor that doesn't like you. Or an ex-girlfriend of your husband, right, that wants to retaliate against him because he left her, then she reports him and his wife. There's so much corruption going on. And people call me until recently last night. I received so many calls of people during a CPS investigation, mind you not, and they're still convinced that because they're good parents, they're going to follow what the instructions of what the social worker is telling them to do, and they're going to get their kids back. This shit, you're delusional. If you think that a CPS worker is going to give you your kids back because you're a great parent, you're delusional. I don't have to know you to tell you you're delusional because I know how they operate. I know how CPS operates. And everything they tell you is a lie, 100% a lie. Oftentimes, they even call you by the wrong name. They have the wrong case number down. They put your kid's name wrong. They call a wrong person and they write down in the report that they dialed this number and they did not respond. They're not cooperating. But this is not the number of the person you're trying to reach. This is somebody else's phone number. So you have to be delusional to think that CPS is going to be on your side in any which way. They're not. So you need to wise up. You need to wake up. You need to literally get an attorney doing your CPS investigation or you're doomed. This is a nightmare that doesn't fucking end. People think all kinds of stuff, but what you think don't matter. And I have people that call me and they said, my mom said, my dad said, my brother said, my sister said, my cousin said, my best friend said. They're not attorneys. They're not state attorneys. Even a family law attorney called me last week and she asked me to handle a case from the case that she was handling, a family law case that turned into a CPS case. Okay? So you, as you know, people think they can give the right advice, but you can't give advice. You can't go to a heart doctor for your foot condition and expect that doctor to give you the right diagnosis or whatever. It doesn't work that way. You can't go to a foot doctor for your heart disease. You can't go to your stylist, right, for a broken arm. I mean, you have to think wisely. You can't assume that whatever you hear is accurate information. I have an attorney one time that told me, don't just Google everything because not everything you read is the truth. And it's the truth. That is the truth. Yeah. You can't believe everything you read. You can't believe everything you hear. And also, a lot of you guys are putting a lot of trust in other people who are dealing with CPS cases. You guys cannot put that much trust in them because if they are dealing with it, they're not getting the right information all the time either. So you can't say, oh yeah, she's a child advocate. She's this or he's this, he's that. No. You have to understand these people are not qualified to give you legal advice, period. No one, unless they are juvenile dependency attorneys, are qualified to give you legal advice. So you can't say, my friend said, this person said, da 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 da, child advocate, child this, child that. And also, oftentimes people say, well, I was contacted by a child advocate. She wants to know everything about my case and all that stuff. And then they find out later that this person is not a child advocate. They actually work for CPS. And then I hear that from the people. Oh my God, that was a CPS worker and she took all my information. And what do I do now? Why do you give a stranger your information? Someone you don't even know. Why? Because they said on the banner or whatever, fuck CPS or I'm a child advocate. I'm against CPS. You can't trust everything and believe everything from others. This is not right. And then you guys call me and they tell me, oh, well, Georgette, I was wrong. I believe that person. This person said this person said that. And guess what? You're so caught up in what people say and you're not really focused on your situation. You're not focused. You're not centered on your case. You need to be centered. You need to be centered. Drugs is not going to center you. Alcohol is not going to center you. Vengeance is not going to center you. Vengeance is not yours. Don't think you go to court to get justice. You have two options. You either try to get justice or get your kids back. Mr. Davis always tells me this. People are so fixated on the wrong thing. Justice. There is no justice. You are fighting to get your children back. I'm not telling you to retaliate against a social worker. I'm not telling you to go beat her up or him up. I'm not telling you to destroy them. I'm telling you that you need to find a qualified attorney that handles CPS cases. If you think your court-appointed attorney is going to back you up or get your kids back, you're fucking mistaken. They're not going to help you. They're not going to get your kids back. And it's wrong. So when you call a law firm towards the end of your case and you lie to your attorney and tell your attorney all kinds of stuff, right? Trying to hire an attorney. And then the attorney later finds out that everything you said to them is a lie. That's not good for you either. You know, humans make mistakes no matter what. Be truthful. If you want to hire an attorney, be truthful with your attorney. Do not hire an attorney and say, well, I didn't know I was at the end of my case. What do you mean you didn't know you were at the end of your case? What do you mean you didn't know your reunification services was terminated? You know, it's a lot of stuff that goes on in cases that people don't understand that everything you say is important. You cannot just open your mouth to a social worker thinking the social worker is your friend. She's not your friend. He's not your friend. They're only after one thing, your children. Oftentimes, the workers take children from good parents. Sometimes they do the right thing and remove an abused child. However, that doesn't happen all the time. And actually, sometimes the children who are abused with the family die in the family. And there's so many reports made to the social worker and they refuse to remove the abused child. Oftentimes, a child will speak up in school and say, I'm being abused. And the teacher reports it to the police and CPS. They go to the home and the child takes back her, when she opened up to the teacher and tells the teacher, hey, don't tell my dad because I'm scared. And then the police goes to the house and the social worker and the child completely changes her statement. Don't you think that's a sign of abuse? The child cried out to the teacher. The teacher did what she can. They go to the home and the child says, no, I take it back. Isn't that a sign of abuse? But guess what the social worker says to the mom? Oh, it's okay. The child took back her statement. But isn't it, I mean, common sense. That's why we have social workers who lack common sense. They're so fucking stupid. I am surprised they even graduated high school. I am fucking shocked that they actually graduated high school. That's our system. That's who controls kids. That's the sad part about America.
Yeah.
Sandra, go ahead and say what you need to say.
It's just, I've been realizing how much more and more, like, it's sad. Like, people are just evil, like, against their own families, and calling CPS, and just like people calling for the wrong reasons. Like, that's mostly why our system is so messed up. That's one of the reasons, is that people are calling for the wrong reasons. So when kids that actually do get abused or are getting abused don't even get justice or freaking any safety because of the fact that people are making false reports. I feel like if they didn't make so many false reports, it wouldn't be so broken either.
Let me tell you, Cassandra and everybody out there, I have seen cases where the ex-husband or the ex-husband-to-be reports the mother, a good mom, because he is a depleted, narcissistic idiot, right? That doesn't want to pay child support. His main goal is not to pay child support. So what does he do? He has connection with the system, whether through his mother, through his aunt, whatever the case may be. And then guess what? The social workers remove those children from the mom who is crying for help for her kids and give the kids to the abuser, right? And then they say the mother is emotional, the mother is this, the mother is that. Well, what mother is not emotional, you pieces of shit? What mother is not emotional about her children? Give me one fucking mom in the fucking world that doesn't get emotional about her children. And then the emotion all of a sudden turns into mental disorder or mentally unstable.
Mm-hmm.
No, what you have to be dead inside, not to feel anything about your children. If a child is being abused and the mother cries out, automatically they say the mother is making this up. The child goes to the father. I have a lot of mothers who say, why is the system for the fathers? I said to the mom, the system is for the abuser. That's what the system is for.
That's what it seems like.
And people cannot grasp that, because oftentimes people call who never experienced CPS, never been in a CPS custody before. So they're delusional, right? They think, oh, they get shocked. Oh, wait, I just read my detention report and it says I did this and I said this and I said that, but I didn't say this. Do you think they made a mistake? Really? Do you think? They don't make mistakes. What they do, they maliciously target you.
And make false allegations.
There you go.
Lies.
Mistake. That is not a mistake, sweetheart. That is deliberately done.
Yep.
Oftentimes a social worker is so fucking lazy that they copy and paste from somebody else's report. And then when you read the detention report, it's Maria Gonzalez. You're not Maria Gonzalez. Who the fuck is Maria Gonzalez? Who the fuck is Albert whatever Gonzalez? Who is Jessica Gonzalez? Those are not your kids' names, but it's copy and pasted into your report. Do you think that you can tell your court-appointed attorney, hey, hey, this is not me. This is not my information. This is not what I said. You know what the court-appointed attorney can tell you? Oh, it was just a mistake. A mistake? Well, it's a mistake you've taken my children to begin with. It's a mistake. You think they can say that? Oh, Your Honor, it's a mistake. You should not have gone there to take her children. Those motherfuckers don't make mistakes. They know exactly what they're doing. So you need to wise up and understand the system. You need to understand how the fucking system works. I said on my last shows, I have bought this myself. Even though I work for the law office of Vincent Davis, I actually took it upon myself to get it myself. Why? Because there's so much in this fucking book that he breaks it down. I actually highlight everything I read because this man gives you hints. I mean, we're talking about the juvenile dependency court system. We're talking about the social worker's initial investigation, the first court hearing, the arraignment and detention hearing, placement with relatives and family friends, the pre-release investigation, the jurisdictional hearing, the contested jurisdictional hearing, what happens at trial, the dispositional hearing, the 388 petition and hearing, the 6-month review hearing, the 12-month review hearing, the selection and implementation hearing, 388 petition, bonding study, notice of appeal, foster parents' rights, and the secret. This man breaks it down. And people call me today and they say the same thing. How do I do the 388? What do I need to do? What do I tell my social worker? I mean, my court-appointed attorney. I don't have money to hire an attorney. Get the book and implement what this man is saying, Mr. Davis. This man doesn't fucking sleep. He works literally 24/7. This man texts me at 3:30 in the morning to do something for a client or a potential client. This man is working 24/7. And his concern are the clients. So please read, educate yourselves, implement what a qualified attorney is telling you to do.
A qualified one.
Yes.
Because your court-appointed pretender, your court pretender is not qualified. Even if they say that they're for juvenile dependency, they're not juvenile dependency lawyers.
They're not. You need to understand. This is, somebody asked me what the name of the book is. It's called The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. Vincent W. Davis. I've learned so much from Mr. Davis, and I've learned so much from this book. Well, it's him. I mean, book and Davis are the same. But there is strategy that needs to be implemented. Amazon, that is correct. Or you can, yes, Amazon is fine. So, again, I'm going to repeat myself. Do not take advice from just any attorney. There's a lot of people who hire family attorneys. I want to understand how you can hire a family attorney for a state matter. You versus the state. Whether it's the state of California, for example, state of California, county of San Bernardino. County of San Bernardinos are the fucking social workers. Do you honestly think that a state judge is going to take your word for it? For what you're saying? No. The state judge is going to believe what the social worker is saying. That's why in my shows, I say what? Social workers should be fucking wearing black robes and walking around. Social workers, but they actually think that they're actually psychiatrists. They can look at a crying mom and say, oh, she needs mental health because she's crying. She needs a 7:30 evaluation because she's emotional. You don't even take puppies from a dog when they're born. You don't even steal their babies when they're born because they say, oh, humans say, well, the baby needs to be with the mom, right? What do you think the dog is going to do when you touch their newborn? Attack you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But when a crying mother, a human being with a soul and loving emotion for her children cries out for her kids, all of a sudden, this mother needs a 7:30 evaluation. Why?
And
because
mentally unstable and needs to do parenting classes. And mental health and
mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is ridiculous. You guys need to wise up. We have social workers all over social media pretending to be CPS workers. I am finding this out every fucking day. Every day. And you know what makes me so passionate about how I deal with expressing all this to you guys is because people still fall for this crap. They still fall for it because they're so desperate. They want to talk to everybody about their case. You can't waste your energy with the wrong people. I have an attorney in our office once said to me, Georgette, you smile more and talk less when you're dealing with a corrupt system. Smile more and talk less. Because when you keep talking to everybody, you're spreading your information out there and you're touching the wrong person. It's a disease. It's a disease. It's cancerous when you deal with the wrong person. And don't ever think everybody has your best interest in heart. No, they don't. People get information, they gossip about it. And they tell everyone else. And then they tell you they're not saying anything. You have to be aware. You have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be mindful that there are evil people in the world. And there's people in sheep clothing. They pretend to be nice, but they're not nice.
And that gossip goes around like the game telephone. Like if you hear it one way, it's going to come out another, and then another way and another way. And it just gets even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to understand that also, not when people tell you they're dealing with a CPS case and then you start talking to them, emailing them, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then they start telling your story to everybody else. And then they tell you, oh no, I'm not that kind of person. I don't talk about anything to people. I don't share anything you tell me to people. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. There is no signed contract of confidentiality when you're speaking to unknown person. So what makes you think this person is not going to disclose your information to the wrong person? They will. And all these people, that anybody can open a Facebook page. Any fucking person can open a Facebook page and say, hey, I am Monica Hernandez. I am Jessica Freelance or whatever. But who are they really? Who really are they? They can use other people's names and open a Facebook page. And that person never knew they had a Facebook page. And they can put pictures, they can put all kinds of stuff, and you believe that this person is a victim of CPS, and you believe this person is dealing with this, and you believe and believe and believe. But where is your focus should be? Your focus shouldn't be talking to Monica Hernandez, who you don't fucking know, about your case. Your focus should be, what should I do? What is my next step? To focus on, center myself to what I need to be to work on getting my kids back. And you guys have to understand this. If you guys have a CPS case and your ex-spouse is in charge of hiring a monitor and paying for that monitor, you better believe that monitor is going to be in cahoots with him 100%. You better believe that that monitor is going to be writing shit that didn't even exist. You need to understand people are not for you. Monitors, they're making money, but they don't care about you because they get paid by the other person. They want to keep you in bondage because they get paid. They get paid. You need to be able to have evidence that contradicts what they're saying about you. You need to be able to prove what you do with your children during the visit. You need to be able to record interactions between you and your children. Take pictures. Show what it is that you do with your children. because that monitor will lie in the report and say things that never happened. You need to get it together and ask whoever you need to ask for help, financial help. I need an attorney. This is what's going on. But sometimes, well, most times, what the social workers do, they turn your family against you first. They turn your family against you first because your family is a bond that keeps you together mentally, emotionally, and financially. Now they have to then separate you from your family so that way you have no help. And that's why I tell everybody, do not listen to what the social worker is saying about your daughter, about your son, about your great-granddaughter or your great-grandson, whatever, about your niece, your nephew, whatever the case may be. You raise them. You know who they are. You never, ever let anyone divide you apart. Only the devil divide and conquers. How does the devil conquer you guys? Or conquer us in general? Division. You have to divide in order for you to conquer. Right? Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. It's common sense. So you need to be centered. And I keep telling you guys, do not center yourself with substance abuse. I have a PNC that said to me, Georgette, I never used to take drugs. But all of a sudden, I started drinking myself to sleep. All of a sudden, I started doing this. I said, then you're giving them. Literally, they have control over you. They literally have control over you. You cannot center yourself like this. Because that's drug, substance abuse, and all this. It keeps you asleep. It keeps you in the dark. When you close your eyes, you see darkness. Right? Am I right? Or am I the only one that sees pitch black when you close your eyes? It's darkness. When you open your eyes and the sun shines, that's the light. You need to be in the light. You can't be in the darkness. You need to be in the light. Yep. I have expressed myself to you guys many times before. Choose something that's positive to help you cope. Meditation. I told you guys I've been doing meditation since age 14. It was not, my parents just taught me how to center myself. And I do pray a lot. I do. Most of you guys don't believe in God, or some of you guys don't believe in God. I do. That's my comfort. God is my comfort. Why? Because there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that helps you cope with stress, right? There's a lot of instructions in the Bible that helps you. And that's my comfort. You can't say vengeance is yours. Vengeance is not yours. When you're dealing with corruption, vengeance is not yours. You need to focus on only your children. Forget the social workers. Forget the court. Forget the judges. Forget what they say about you. Because when you center yourself, you're going to know. You're going to know that what they're saying, it don't matter. Because when you center yourself, you're going to think clearly. You're going to do what's right for your kids and yourself. The first thing to do when you deal with CPS is to hire an attorney. Do not wait until your initial meeting with the social worker. That should never happen. Your initial meeting with the social worker, an attorney should be present, whether in person or on the phone. Your attorney needs to be present. It's cheaper to hire an attorney doing an investigation than you wait until your case is almost done. Because a social worker knows the first step, the first initial call, the first initial step to your home, that worker knows. Her supervisor knows. The department knows where they're going to put your children. They know who your children are. They know the ages of your children. They know what school their children goes to. They know what you've done 15 years ago. They know that even when you didn't do anything, they still know. Mm-hmm. They know. There's parents who are fighting that have no record. They have no domestic violence. They have no criminal record or drug use or not even a traffic ticket. and they still steal their children. There's parents, a mother who had psychiatric evaluations on her done twice. The psychiatrist said there's nothing wrong with the mother, and the father should be investigated because it's one-sided. And they still give the children to the father. So there are so many different cases, and everybody think their case is different. Their case is special. Their case is unique.
Nope.
And people think, oh, I have a lawsuit. I'm going to sue the social worker. And they actually go and tell the social worker, I'm going to sue you. And they think, oh, the social worker is going to be trembling. No, you don't do that. My mom taught me this a long time ago, my dad. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. You don't go to your enemy and say, I'm going to sue you. Then you're giving your enemy 10 steps ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Think. You don't go to your neighbor and say, I'm going to call the police on you, and walk away. Then the neighbor is going to call the police on you first. And guess what? It's her word against yours because she called first. You think that the cops are going to believe, oh, I just told her I'm going to call the police and she did it first? No. You're just creating a whole new can of worms for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes no sense. But you give that person a heads up. You told that person what you're going to do. And then parents tell me, Georgette, I was scared. I was just emotional. I get it. But that's why when you're emotional, you're not centered. You're not thinking clearly. I have a God. What really hurts me is most of the false allegations comes from a mother-in-law. I'm being honest. A mother-in-law. Yeah. That's where most of the allegations come from. A mother-in-law reports her son's spouse because she doesn't like her and she thinks she's going to get her, 3 grandkids in her custody. That happened to me. That's what really kills me. And then when that mother-in-law doesn't get the grandkids in her custody, right? Then she retaliates. Then she starts fighting. But yet she's the one who was there to begin with. She's the one who created this mess to begin with. That's what gets me. That's what's disgusting to me. And on top of that, wow.
Everybody just needs to stop being so naive and delusional. Like, just protect yourself. And you can't trust everybody. Like, you can't. There's, especially in this day and age, you can't trust anybody.
No, you can't.
And you got to protect yourself with knowledge and get the right help that knows what they're doing. Like, I even asked my public defender the other day, like, because I called her to figure out what the hell was going on. Like, because they don't call me and tell me nothing, of course. And so I was like, are you even a juvenile dependency attorney? Like, did you even know how, like, do you even know any of this? Like, you're telling me that you can't do stuff for me that I know you can do. And she didn't answer me and continued to argue with me.
Yep. And that's what they do. They actually, your court-appointed attorney, I have one of our clients last year, not last year, January of this year. She said to me, her court-appointed attorney called her what? Oh my God. It was a bad name. Not the B word, not the bitch or whatever. No, it's a bad name, some other bad name. And she said, I can't believe he said that to me. And I said, what did you say? She said, I didn't say anything. I just told him, how dare you? So in court, outside the courtroom, before the hearing, he called her, oh, I remember now, the word cunt. Yeah. And she said, out of the blues. This is an educated woman. This is a woman that has no record on her. This is a woman that has her own business. And he called her a cunt because she wouldn't agree to plead guilty. He said, guilty for what? I'm not guilty. So he said, you're a F cunt. That's what her court-appointed attorney said to her. I'm going to say LA County. I'm just not going to say which county in LA County. I mean, which county in California, but somewhere in California. And you know what's so sad? Her sad is her son was there, her oldest son. Her oldest son was there, and he, a good kid, and he said he couldn't believe that the attorney said that to his mother. And she said to me, she had to turn to her son and ask, what does that mean? Like, at first she didn't even know what the word meant. That's how naive she was. That's how disgusting the system is. Court-appointed attorneys, you think they're going to be on your side? That is sad. Because they want to get rid of you. They want to move the case. Hey, let's move on to the next victim. Let's move on.
Because they have so many.
There's so many. Why are there so many? Because the funding, the incentives keep coming in. The incentives keeps coming in. That's why there's so many. So you think they're going to pay attention to your case? Because you're special? Well, guess what? In the law's eyes, you're not special.
Nope.
In the court's eyes, you're not special. You're just a merchandise. Right? Your kids are merchandise. That's what it is. That's all it is. And people think they can call their court-appointed attorney every day, try to get a hold of them every day. You can't do that because it's useless. You're putting your effort in a useless thing. You need to email them, not try to call them. You need to email them. Anything that you have, email it to your attorney. Because if you guys think about it, when you hire an outside attorney, a juvenile attorney, right, from a firm, people do the same thing. They try to call 20 times. Email the attorney 50 times. I'm like, why do you do that? Because you're going to drain your retainer. You're actually draining your retainer. And they think, some parents, some people, they think if you call the case manager in the law firm and you tell the case manager to do this and this and that, guess what? They think that it's the same thing as telling the attorney. So the attorney so they don't run out of their retainer, deplete their retainer. That's not the same thing. You need to be interacting with your attorney. And furthermore, you need not to email your attorney every day, call your attorney every day. No. You need to collect as much information as possible and send one email a week, even, if it has to be. But people think they can get results right away. I had a client last week. She said, I want to get my kids back tomorrow. Well, CPS has your kids. State has your kids. You can't just go to the state the following day and say, hey, I want my kids now. And the attorney's going to make it happen now. You already damaged your case. You expect the attorney all of a sudden overnight? Okay, I'm going to get your kids tomorrow. I guarantee you're going to have your kids tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. There is a process that has to be, you can't. There's a process. Once the state takes your children, there's a process to get them back. That's why it's important to have an attorney before the initial meeting with the social worker. I keep telling you guys, before the initial meeting with the social worker. Before. The minute the social worker leaves a card on your doorstep, that's when you need to hire an attorney. Period. There is no but Georgette. There is no well Georgette. No, there is none of that. I'm just telling you, period, because that's the truth. I want to see every mother out there reunify with her kids. Because there's a lot of good mothers out there that don't deserve to deal with this demonic, depleted, narcissistic, sociopathic system. They don't deserve that. They don't. They really, really don't.
And neither do those children.
And neither do the children. That's why, a lot of people say, well, I refuse to sign. I'm what? But this, oh my God. Somebody called me last week from watching my show. What did she say? Oh, I'm going to have a baby soon and I refuse to sign the birth certificate. And she actually wanted me to ask Mr. Davis if she can refuse. And that was a new question to me. I didn't know how to answer that. However, Mr. Davis has so many cases right now, I couldn't ask him, but it's still, I have it written down in my notes to ask him. But that was interesting question. I don't know if you can refuse to sign the birth certificate for your child.
No, you can't, I don't think.
I don't know, but she asked me if it's possible to sign the birth certificate.
But once you do get a birth certificate, I know you can authenticate it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
And that makes you like a sovereign citizen or something like that.
Yeah.
So that way you could do it for you and your children.
Yeah, it's interesting. So she said, document everything. Always keep a trail. Yes, always keep a trail of everything. Everything. And do not ever go to your enemy and say, I have evidence. Do not ever tell people, the opposing person or persons, that you have evidence that contradicts what they're saying, or evidence that proves them, proves their lies.
Yeah.
Ever. You collect as much evidence as you can and never let them know what you're doing. A lot of people do this. A lot of people go, well, I have evidence. They actually say that to a monitor. I have evidence that you're lying. I'm going to use it against you. Can't do that. Why would you give your enemy a gun and ammunition too? Why? It's just a saying. Why would you do that?
People think of everything like this as a game. Like, this is a game of chess. Like, you need strategy. You need to be ahead of your opponent. Like, it's just, why do you think they call it a courtroom? Where do you play sports? In a court?
Well, they call it the circuit court. I was like, the circuit? It is like a circuit.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. You just need the, you have the snakes, you have the elephants, you have the tigers, you have this, the hyenas, you have this, you have that. It's chaos in there. But I call it the whorehouse. I call the court system the whorehouse. I call the juvenile court system the whorehouse. I do. And that's the only way to describe them. Because they're all in cahoots together, all of them. The guardian ad litem, court-appointed attorneys, social workers, investigators, blah, 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 the supervisors, all of them. All of them are the whorehouse. All of them. I don't trust not a damn word that comes out of their mouth. Not one word that comes out of their mouth. And oftentimes people say, well, there has to be a good social worker out there. If there is a good social worker out there, think about it. They would have quit a long time ago. They would quit when they see the lies and the deception. You cannot work in a place where there are lies and deceptions to steal people's children. Because you have to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Would you want this to happen to you? How would you feel if it happened to your family members? How would somebody feel? It's not good. And also, if you guys have, and this is very important, and I'm going to give you this advice. This is from me to you. If you guys have an ex-mother-in-law, right, that is against you, and she's the one who made the report against you to begin with, do not ever let them know anything about your life. Do not let them know anything about you. You need to get away from these people as far away as possible, because they will stalk you. They will find out every step you're making. Do not do that. Stay away from them.
And stay off of social media.
And stay off of social media and stop posting pictures on social media.
Everything.
Yes, stop doing that. And stop. You know what's so sad? Because people say, "Oh, I friend people on my Facebook, and I don't even know them." Why would you do that? You're friending.
Why? That's the whole point of friend requests. Like, to request to be your friend. If you don't know this person, don't add them. Like, and keep all your stuff off of, like, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Like, just stay off of there with your personal lives.
Right. Stop. And you put like, and then you have pictures of yourself in your bedroom and showing your underwear and showing, you know, sexual poses.
And every freaking like post you make is about your relationship with your new person or whatever. You guys are fighting or what the like. I don't know how many times I've seen that.
You know
like,
what social media was? So Facebook was originally designed to communicate with distant families. Facebook was designed to communicate with, for example, if you have families in Florida, or if you have families in the Middle East, or if you have families out of the country, that's a way to communicate, to have, you know, communication with them. That was great. You know, that was the only way. But you can't use social media. People started using it for all kinds of stuff. Talk about their personal life. They talk about this. They show pictures of themselves posing. And now it became like dating services. It became all kinds of stuff, ads and all kinds of stuff. Originally, that wasn't for that. So, and people say, "Oh, the social worker knows so much about me." Well, hello.
Well, duh.
You're putting your business out there. How is the social worker not going to know much about you? If you have to block people that you don't trust, block them immediately. You only allow only friends and relatives and close friends. I'm not saying you're 100,000 close friends. There is no 100,000 close friends. You cannot have 100,000 people. You can't have 100 people who are close to you. It's impossible. So be very wise and how you get your information out there, because once you open the Pandora's box, you can't close it. You cannot close Pandora's box. I keep telling people that. Trissa said, I don't understand how people can post anything personal online on any site. Yes, but there's a lot of people who do that. And they think it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay.
If you have like something personal that's going on in your life and you need to get it out, get a journal, a diary, something else. Don't be posting that shit on social media. Like, seriously, people
don't care.
Come on.
People don't care. People don't care. They really don't care. They pretend they care, but they don't care. There's a lady that posted on Facebook in March 15th. She posted, "My kids are driving me crazy." She has 5 kids. And she said, "My kids are driving me crazy. I need a mom break, or else I don't know what to do." You know what happened? That was reported to CPS as she's about to commit suicide. And CPS put it in the report as such. She said that on social media. It was on Facebook. And that opened a whole new can of worms. She doesn't know who reported her, but it was on her Facebook. It could be her so-called best friend. It could be her whatever, co-worker. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you. If you guys have a business, then have a Facebook for your business. Like, anybody can find me on Facebook. Business. Facebook page. Nothing but business, but work. Relates to what we stand for, which is fight against CPS. Relates to that. Articles, information that can be helpful, but that's it. There's no need for anything else. Do not invite people on your private page that you think they're your friend. They're not your friend. they're not your friend. They're not. If you really look at the word friend, at the end of friend is END. That's end. A friend can end you. A friend can end you. So if I have a good person in my life, I call her or him sis or brother. I think I said that to you, Cassandra. I said, you're not my friend, you're my sis, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. If I call you a friend, you better believe I know you're not really a friend. The close people in my life, I call them family.
Yep.
Family. Because I know they will never hurt me. I know that they have the best interest at heart for me. But when you call somebody friend, there's always an end. It's an end.
I know that, like, anybody I call family, it's like right, wrong, or indifferent. They got me no matter what. Yep. And I only call my family, like, only people that I really know that will do that for me, which have proved it to me, you know, I call them family. Like, and it's right, wrong, or indifferent.
Exactly. But the thing about it is, sometimes you think that this friend that turned into family is actually family. No. Don't turn your friends into family without really knowing, because sometimes we'll make that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that so-called family gossips about you to other people and share the information you shared with her to other people, they're not good people. When somebody who's, you think they're family, like, accuse you of something you didn't do, they're not good people. So before you put somebody in your family zone, make sure you know who they are. Like when I say Cassandra is a sis, I know her. When I say Darren is like a brother to me, I know him. Darren's wife, I know her. He's my other co-host. He's not with us today. But like that, you have to know these people. Because family, there is no end to it. There's always closeness. So you need to clean your circle of people around you, because those people are the ones that will destroy you or try to destroy you, because God tells us no weapon formed against us shall prosper. So they post all sorts of crazy stuff and forget it is way down in the timeline. Yep, they do. Way down in the timeline. That is correct. And they think the social workers will never know.
They'll find it. They'll intentionally go and look for it.
Exactly.
Because they're going to try to find the next thing to ruin you. Like, they're going to try their hardest to find something that's going to pin you down that you can't fight.
That's correct. And look,
they're not friends. They're not anything. They're not friends. They're not family. They're not anything. They're not good people. They're bad people who are trying to get your kids no matter what, because they're money.
Yeah.
That's straight. There you go.
Yep. That's all.
Stop being naive. Stop being delusional. You're not the best parent in the world. You might be. You might think you are, but they don't see that. They don't care. They do not care.
People listen. People, like so-called friends in your circle, listen to get information from you. That's all it is. They listen to get information from you and then use that against you. When you vent out to someone, if they have your best interest in heart, right, they will listen and advise you. Mm-hmm. They will tell you when you're wrong. They will tell you when you're right. They will call you to check up on you. But be careful with that, because sometimes they call you to check up on you to get information from you also, so they can use against you. So you have to be very discerning when you have people around you. Very, very discerning. Like, I know if I tell something to Cassandra, She's gonna, if I vent out with her about a situation, she's gonna keep that with her.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with me. Same thing with Darren. Same thing with his wife. You have to know who you're dealing with. If you don't know that, then you're shit out of luck. Really, shit out of luck. And you have to be very careful. Like says here, wow, I was just talking to people about posting on social media and fake friends. Wow. See that? That's very important. Fake friends. Fake. Fake. There's a lot of people who are opportunist.
Yep.
They want to get from you. And they want to pretend they're giving back. No. When your gut tells you to watch out, you need to watch out. There's a lot of people who say, oh, I am this, I am that, I help people, I do this, I do this, I do this.
There's a lot of con artists.
There's a lot of con artists. A lot. A lot. And everything that comes out of their mouth is nothing but a freaking lie. And you, as a good person, you believe it. You're like right away, you believe it. Like, wow. And then all of a sudden, revelation happens. And then you're like, wait a minute. Was I just deceived? Was I stupid? Was I gullible? Was I naive? Yes, you are. Gullible, naive, and stupid. To believe people. You can't just believe them. Because those people are the same people that will screw you. So wipe out Facebook, your personal page, and make sure that you clear everyone that is not family. Family. Only family you need on that Facebook page. Not friends. Family. I'm being honest. Because like I said, your friends that were friends at one point, and then they become family, right? You upgraded them to families because you know their quality. You know them.
They did
100% know them.
They did something in your life to prove to you that they're there for you.
Yes.
They give you advice. They give you good advice. They tell you that they care. They check on you. They show you that they care about you.
Show you, not just words.
Yes, exactly.
Not just
Show
words,
you.
not just deception. There's a lot of deception in the world. A lot of deceptive people in the world. They might act like they're your family, but they're not. So you need to pray for discernment. Discern who is in front of you, who you're speaking with. Who you're speaking with. You have to be very mindful.
Know that you guys, like, if you know that person, that you care about that person, and you would do anything for that person, right? Know that they would do the same for you.
Yes.
That's just how you, if they could do the same thing, think about it. If that person can't do the same thing for you as you can do for them because you care about them,
right,
then they're not your family.
They're not. They're not. And then oftentimes, like I last week, I got a call from somebody. I will not disclose her name, but she said to me, she said, I'm not Christian, so why are you talking about God? And I told her, I said, I understand not everybody's Christian on my page, and I get it. But a mother is a mother. But when I give advice biblically, sometimes is from what I know. Because the way I was brought up is to always trust in God. And I chose to trust in God, not just because my parents brought me up that way, but I made that choice as I became an adult. I trust in God. So, like I said, in the Bible, there's a lot of advice that God gives you instructions. God gives us instructions, but everything that happened in our lives, people tend to blame God. But what you guys don't understand is our decisions, our choices in life. Our choices. You choose the wrong partner. Guess what? God sent you so many people to tell you not to go to that partner to begin with. But you made that choice. It's our choice what we do in life. Then we run to God and say, why didn't you help me? Why didn't you help me? Well, God said, hey, I send you so many people to tell you to watch out from this person. But you made that choice to believe that person to begin with. So you have to deal with the consequences. But God didn't say, I'm going to leave you there. But people tend, in the midst of chaos, people tend to steer away from God. I understand that. But that's your choice. That's a decision you make. That's a decision you make. Okay? God is not going to force you to listen to him. You have to be willing to take God's instructions in his word and do. If you don't want to do, then you're going to have to deal with it on your own. I don't care how long it's been that you're dealing with a circumstance that's really bad. God wants you to be with him fully, 100%, not 50%, not 20%, not 5%, 100%. And then for you who are Christian watching this show, I'm telling you right now, you will see God's wonder in your life. But you have to humble yourself and trust in him 100%. And don't give ear to the devil. Don't give ear to your enemy. Don't, whatever they write about you, don't give ear to it. Because that's what distracts you. The enemy knows how to distract us. How? By writing false things about us, saying false things about us. Then it leads you to be in the defense mode. Don't be in the defense mode. You need to center yourself to your creator. If you're Christian, you'll understand what I mean.
And like my sister actually told me this one time, like she explained like to me, because she's not really religious or anything like that, but she explained it to me in a way that I kind of understand for if you're not religious. Like, you might be religious, but you're not Christian. You know what I mean? So like everybody has their way of coping with things and handling life. So like if you're not religious or a Christian, like you have your way of belief.
Right.
So that's, everybody has a different way of believing in something.
Right.
And they believe in this higher power because it's their way to deal with life. Right. And how they would make their decisions in life.
Correct.
So like either way, however you believe, you just believe in something, basically. Right. She said, she's like, always believe in something, like a God or something, because people, all people, different gods, different religions.
The devil is also a god to some people.
Yeah, I know, but there's always good and evil. You know what I mean? That's how she explained it to me. It's like there's always good and evil, so always believe in the good.
Exactly.
And focus on the good, right, not the evil.
Exactly.
Good karma, good.
Well,
feeling,
karma is not
just
God.
Everything.
But karma is not God. I mean,
yeah, I know, but that
karma,
like
I don't believe in karma. I believe in whatever you do to others, it will happen to you. So to me, a lot of people think that their circumstance, they're good parents, a good mom dealing with a CPS case, and that God did this. God didn't do this. Then why doesn't God give me my kids back? Well, God didn't tell you to go have children with a narcissist or a sociopath, right? God didn't tell you to have children with a drug user. God didn't tell you to have children with alcoholics. God warned you, but we didn't listen. We didn't listen. God didn't tell us to hang out with the wrong crowd, right? Because oftentimes people are hang out with the wrong people, and then the wrong people do something, and then they're already dragged in it. The innocent is already dragged in because you were in the same circle as those people. You have to be mindful who you entertain. It's in the Bible, actually. Be careful of who you entertain. You just don't know. You have to be mindful. You have to be mindful. It's very important to choose the right people in your lives. I love you, man. I love you. Thank you for that comment. I really appreciate that.
And like one of my favorite like stories actually like in the Bible like is the story of Job, because of how like he never stopped believing no matter what he was going through.
Yep.
That's like the whole thing. Like people stop having faith in God when stuff starts going bad,
Right.
or something like that. But you just got to believe. You got to keep believing, and he'll conquer, over all evil.
Yeah. People think that God is asleep, or people think that God is not on the throne. God is on the throne. God will never, ever sleep. And again, I'm going to tell you guys this. Your timing is different than God's timing. God's timing might be, for us, it might take years. In my years, I'm like, God, where are you? What's going on? But are you really serious? Do you praise him whether you're happy or sad? Or do you only praise him when you're dealing with conflicts? Or do you only go to him when you're having problems? But do you go to him when you don't have problems? That's not true love. That's not love. My mother and my dad, God rest their souls, I used to go to them when I was obviously growing up. If I have a problem at school or a problem at work, I would go and just go to my mom's arms and cry. But I also go to her when I'm happy. I go to her when I'm sad. So that's how God wants us to have a relationship with him. This is not about religion. I don't have a religion. I have a relationship with Christ. That's my relationship with God. But God wants you to trust him at all times, not just 20% of the time. At all times. But what is the devil going to do? The devil's going to use the worker, yeah, because he has control over them. Remember? They're the puppets for Satan. Workers are puppets. They're demons. And I told you guys this before. A demon cannot just roam around the earth without a body to nest in it. They need a body to nest in it in order for them to do evil. Right? So you're distracted by these demons and enemy telling you how bad you are and lying against you and this and this and that. And God said what? Be still and know I am. He said, Lord God said, be still, be centered, and know I am God. The creator of heaven and earth can do wonders. But our faith, our chaos is what takes us away from centered with God. And it keeps us like this, all over the place. And people do not understand that the enemy wants you weaker. He wants you destroyed. They want you to be destroyed. Don't allow your enemy to control you. Period. Do not allow your enemy to control you. You should not be distracted by them. You should be centered with God. And when I tell you humble yourself, get down on your knees. Whether you're a grown-ass man or a little man or a grown-ass woman or a little woman, get down on your knees and pray to God. And remember, the devil attacks using what? Our mind. The devil attacks us by putting a thought in our head. The thought is what? The social worker will call you and say, hey, John, you're going to lose your parental rights. What John should be doing, focus on God. Focused. Tell God, talk to God. All he wants us to do is talk to him. He didn't say, God didn't create a religion. He didn't create Catholics. He didn't create this. He didn't create that. Born again Christians or Baptist Christians, or it's all BS crap. All of this religion crap is BS. Just stick with God. 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 Jesus didn't die on the cross for us for our sins to have a religions. All sort of type of religions. Be centered only with God. And that's how I want you guys to, the ones who are Christian, understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to turn this into a church service, but God is going to bless your socks off. And to those that are listening, grab a hold of these nuggets. That's cute. Did you read that, Cassandra?
Yeah.
You're so adorable. Oh my God. Just be centered, guys. Be centered. God didn't didn't do this for us to save us so we can destroy ourselves, because
And
you're
it's,
the only one who are destructive to yourself. One
I
time an
feel like
attorney,
it's only going to get, it only gets worse before it gets better also. Like,
oh
because think about it, like once you start doing that, like centering yourself and being with God, the devil tries harder.
yes, that's
And he tries harder and harder. So it's only going to get worse before it
yes.
gets better.
The devil will always try harder when he sees that you're trying
You're
to follow
starting to
that.
believe.
Yeah, you're starting to believe, and he will attack you worse and worse. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand and know and believe in your heart who your creator is. The devil himself, he's going to be, oh my God, his days are numbered too. Why do you think he tries so hard to take as many children of God with him as possible? Because a misery enjoys company. He doesn't want to be miserable by himself. He doesn't want to do that. We do have instructions from God on how to handle the enemy. Use it, implement it in your life. Stand in front of Satan and say you bind him in the name of Christ. Do not allow your enemy to hold you captive. And when you're dealing with CPS, when you're dealing with situations like that, God, I mean, that God knows what they're doing. And the devil attacks God's children because the closest thing to our heart is our kids. The closest thing to our heart is our children. The devil will use those close to you also to throw you off. Stay focused. Amen. The devil will use those close to you also to throw you off. Stay focused. And do not accept from anyone. If somebody said to you over the phone or in person, you're going to lose your kids. Yeah, you're done. You're done. You're going to lose your kids. You're done. And then you get mad and you're accepting it. You're accepting it. You're accepting it. Because the words that came out of this person's mouth is not from God. It's not from God. God defeated the world. He defeated the world. So you need to be able to distinguish between God and Satan's words. God is not a liar. God's word is the truth. There's scientists who are atheists or were atheists that did their study about Christ and this, and there's no such thing, and all this God, there is no God. And then they became believers. YouTube that crap. I'm telling you the God honest truth. They start believing because they knew that God exists. God does exist. You just have to believe. Center yourself. Please center yourself. Stay focused. Stay focused, and do not let the social worker have a hold of you like this. Do not allow this. You are stronger than you think. You are better than you could ever process, because everybody's putting you down. Everybody's saying what a loser you are. But God said you're not a loser. You're a child of the Most High God. You're a child of the King. And the King is still on the throne. I love you guys, and I do pray for you guys. Believe it or not, I have my notebook right here with everybody's names. I put everybody's names in this, and I pray for you guys. I love you. God bless you. And just make sure that you understand that you're a winner. You will be victorious at the end. Okay? Cassandra, thank you so much for joining me. I love you so much. And
Thank you.
and I will talk to you guys. Oh, 1 o'clock. Is it 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
1 o'clock is Fight CPS Real Talk with Miss G, and at 4 o'clock is Relatives Fight CPS. I will see you guys. I will talk to you soon, Cassandra. God bless you all. Bye bye.